Are you nervous about the holidays coming up this year with Thanksgiving, Christmas, Hanukkah, whatever you celebrate? You might be nervous if you have in-laws or extended family that you don't necessarily get along with. Spending time with your in-laws may leave you feeling like you're walking on eggshells. Maybe you've been in huge disagreements about politics in this year or in the last few years. And maybe it's been tense ever since. Or maybe you get the impression that your in-laws just don't like you and they haven't maybe accepted you into their family ever. Well, in Gottman Method Couples Therapy, we know that every marriage is a cross-cultural experience, regardless of whether people are from different or same cultures. And so no matter how similar your backgrounds may seem, between you and your partner, every family is different and every family has its own culture. So, coming from different families and then the family that you create together, whether or not you have children, honestly, it's a brand new culture that has just never existed before. So holidays, just like, weddings and funerals, they can bring mixed feelings and expectations, and especially a lot of emotions about building your own new family culture. And then what do we want to leave behind, from our past, from our family of origin? What do we want to reject? And then what do we want to keep and kind of incorporate or weave into our own family traditions, maybe with your own children or just you and your partner. So I have a few tips as a Gottman Couples Therapist to help you to feel really confident together about how you're going to handle any of those uncomfortable but common situations with your in-laws, and to just feel connected to each other and a little bit more confident about how you handle it. So number one, and this is hard for many of us, is remember that your partner comes first. So with the holidays, everything gets busy. It's easy just to kind of get wrapped up in expectations of others and to just want to say yes and to do, what your mother or your father or your brother or your sister want you to do. Pause more and check in with your partner more. You need to have some open communication between you and your partner. And one thing that'll help you is, coming into this discussion calm, using what we call a softened startup. Hey, do you mind if we talk about the holidays? I just want us to have a game plan for moving forward in a way that feels good for both you and for me. So, you might start with sharing some of the things that you're anxious about, or that you're a little concerned or worried about. It could be maybe that you've never done this before and it's new, or maybe you've had some holiday experiences in the past that have just blown up and have become really problematic or have created a lot of tensions. So, starting with a really proactive, loving, calm conversation about how I want to basically have a holiday that really works well for both of us is something that most people can get on board with. So look for those moments when you can really, share and think, what am I feeling? What am I thinking about? What are you feeling and thinking about for this upcoming holiday? And letting your partner know if there's anything really critically important to you or maybe non-negotiable. You want to try to make those, expectations or boundaries really well known, not in a demanding dictator sort of style, but in a way that just says, hey, this is something that would be really important to me. Maybe there's something that you're not comfortable doing or you're uncomfortable talking about at family gatherings. There may be some traditions that you just don't want to partake in, even if your partner does. So make sure that you're trying to get onto the same page and ready to support one another, especially if there's anything that's really important to you. And you also, on the flip side, you have to remember that your partner's family is important to them, even if you don't like them. It's really important that you are respectful and honor their family, even if they have different perspectives about everything in life. And it's very normal for most couples to, have to adjust a little bit to each other's needs and preferences and feelings about their family, especially their parents. So if you can talk about the holidays coming up with some respect and some open communication, hopefully you can reach a win-win. Another important tip is really, to kind of watch your expectations about the holidays. Sometimes the holidays really can bring out the worst in all of us, again, because of the stress and because of all of the expectations. And many people have had a lot of disappointments in their own family around, how they wish their family had been there for them, or, how they wish their partner's family had been there for them. So, with high levels of stress and expectations with, getting meals together, or people are drinking or consuming alcohol, people are buying gifts, there's often awkward conversations with people that you don't normally spend any time with, that you're very different than, so it doesn't take a therapist to notice how different we all are. And it's just important that you recognize that you're engaging at the holidays with people who are different than you, who have their own feelings, their thoughts, behaviors that are completely different than yours. And even if they are somewhat cutting or at times disrespectful, it's important that you acknowledge that your partner's family traditions are often just traditions, passed down through generations. And, if you can try to just stay curious rather than judgmental, you don't need to share your opinion every time someone shares something that disagrees with you. Sometimes, just kind of, listening and nodding and just tolerating the difference is sometimes the best that we can give. Not reacting or being judgmental is very difficult for many people, but it's going to be really important to sort of grease the wheels for any of the time that you do spend around family, especially if they really are different than you and bother than you. So remember, nobody's perfect, especially not yourself. Kind of keep that humility. There may be things about their family that I really don't like, but I'm not perfect either. So don't pressure yourself to be perfect, and also don't pressure or expect to receive that from your partner or from your partner's family or from your own family. Try to lower your expectations a little bit. Try to keep your own judgment in check, and and try not to make everybody happy either. You can be accommodating, you can be warm, you can be giving to a point. But people pleasing your way through all the holidays is going to leave you feeling drained, anxious, resentful, and it's really helpful in your conversations with your partner about the upcoming holidays to think about what's the point, kind of the existential, main, what are we hoping to get out of this, and keeping that really simple and easy will keep you from, feeling really, really disappointed as well. Some example of that might be, the whole point is we just really want to spend some time with family, or it's important to my partner, so it's important to me. And maybe you compromise a little bit. Maybe you don't spend as much time with the family as they might like, but you still are willing to spend some time. And so rather than having all of these expectations around gifts or around how much time, maybe you focus on the quality of the time. That's going to be our only goal, is really just to spend some time with family. And then really lastly, pick your battles. The holidays do not need to be about confronting any long-standing family issues. This is not a time to become the family therapist and try to address your mother-in-law's drinking or your father-in-law's constant criticism of your parenting, or your, brother-in-law's quirks that really bother you. So trying to have some tolerance, trying to have also just some preemptive plans for how to handle those annoying things that are just not going to change. You may want to have some boundary setting sort of one-liners that can really help you to just say thanks but no thanks. I've decided I'm not going to talk about that today, or this is something I'm not comfortable discussing right now, or sorry, but I won't be getting involved with that conversation today. Let's just have a good time, or let's just focus on the holidays. That can be a really kind gift to your partner to preserve your relationship with their family by, just kind of, recognizing your own triggers and your own pet peeves. And if somebody doesn't respect your boundary, you don't have to attack them. But what you can do is you can have an exit plan and just kind of take a breather, literally step outside, or go on a walk if someone's really frustrating you. And then, have a worst case scenario plan with your partner. Hey, would you mind, if I go home early, if I start to get really stressed about your mother? Or, hey, would you mind going with me? Some couples might have it where one partner leaves early, or where they leave together, and there's not a right or a wrong here. It's just important for the both of you to have a plan that you both agreed to and that feels respectful for both of you. And you're going to have different needs. One of you may really just cherish and value lots and lots of time with extended family, and one of you may really prefer to have more independence and less time with family. And again, neither one is right or wrong, but it is important to try to honor your partner's needs and to not have a relationship where one person's needs are more important than the other. So good luck these holidays. Please get a conversation going to go ahead and start planning in advance, and look for more discussion that we'll have about the upcoming holidays. And best of luck. Put your relationship first.